You're listening to the Blondishnet podcast. I'm Niall Flores, and I'm your hostess. I cover topics like WordPress, blogging, social media, search engine optimization, and web design. I hope with this podcast that you'll be able to rock out your website like a rock star. So let's get it on. Hi, thank you for tuning into the Blondishnet podcast. My name is Niall Flores, and this is a hashtag WordPress Wednesday podcast episode. So that means this episode will be no longer than 15 minutes, and it's all about WordPress. So just in case, you can follow me at blondishnet, or on Twitter at Blondishnet, or on Facebook. I prefer you to join the Facebook group called All About WordPress. Just look for it in the Facebook search bar and you'll see it. It has a cool little blue banner with a big logo of WordPress, and when you click in it, if you see a pin post by me, then you are in the correct group. So come on in. We're over 7,600 members, and we're all about helping each other and talking about WordPress and just adding a lot of value, just like this podcast is intended to. So on episode 2 of the hashtag WordPress Wednesday series, we're going to talk about WordCamps. And WordCamps, it's a very near and dear topic to me. I have a ton of fun at them. If you're listening on this and I just said WordCamps, you're like, what is that? Well, the WordCamp is a WordPress related conference that it's organized by people in maybe your community. And we bring people in to speak and teach each other on WordPress. It's very fun. It's casual. But, there are people that show up in business attire and everything else. It is, technically something that you can take home to actually use in your own, business and for your website. Yeah, that's kind of how WordCamps are and everything. I've been doing WordCamps since 2009. In 2009, I attended. In 2010, I got into speaking. In 2015, I have, to date, in this podcast in December of 2015, I have done 24 presentations at WordCamps, various ones, users like Blogger, content creation, general like plugin recommendations for beginners and everything. I've done designer talks and I've done intro developer talks as well. So, those are the kind of things that you can expect at those conferences. So basically, what I want to do, since we don't have all day, and I could probably talk all day about WordCamp, is to tell you that 5 interesting things that you may or may not know about WordCamps. And so let's just get into this fun little list. So the first thing is WordCamps are all volunteer based. It's actually, there's nobody paid to lead it or anybody, helping to organize it and everything. It's all volunteer. There usually is a group of people that from a local community. It could be St. Louis, it could be Chicago and everything. WordCamps happen all over the world, sometimes a couple times a week in different cities at the same time. That the cool thing about the volunteer stuff, because WordPress is already it's an open source community. It's encouraged people to give back. So again, adding more value to the community. I apologize. My city that I live in is a train hub, so we have an occasional train that comes through. So back on topic. The it's all volunteer, period. So, like, everybody that's operating cameras, from registration to the person directing people to where they need to be, they're all volunteer. Um, so that's number one. Now, the second thing is WordCamps are actually nonprofit. Um, Everything that is donated and brought and whatever is made by ticket sales and everything go into the WordCamp. Nothing. Nobody is paid to do this. It is all. This is what allows tickets to be cheap. Sometimes, so we'll have the sponsors. They'll donate, and so they get something back, like mentions on the site, social media mentions. It's and then they come in, and sometimes they have booths, not booze, booths that they can talk to people who have questions about their services. So, for example, Bluehost, or you could come in and they have somebody there talking about their services, or InMotion hosting, or ServerPress, or there's just so many different sponsors and everything, and they're there giving in their own way, giving back. The the ticket sales and everything are really low. Sometimes $20, sometimes $30, sometimes $40 or $50, depending. It usually depends on how long the event is. If it's like one day, it's probably going to be $20. If it's going to be 3 days, it's probably going to be maybe $40 or 50 something. It depends. Sometimes in these, the reason why the cost is really low as well is sometimes the actual facility is donated. For example, a university will do that because it's educational, and they can write it off. When it's absolutely right for them to do that, and they feel like they gave back in some manner. To business owners and everything else. So the next thing is what it takes to organize a WordCamp. So I kind of hinted to what goes on and everything. In order to organize a WordCamp, somebody has to step forward. Usually that person comes from a local WordPress meetup. These meetups, you can find them on meetup.com. That's MEETUP.com, and there are meetups all over the world. And you just look it up and look up the city, like WordPress, so and so WordPress meetups, like St. Louis WordPress meetup. Okay, that's an example, and you'll find out that we have 3 different groups, and they're all focused for different things, or they're for specific areas, so we can reach those people a lot easier. So once there's a leader and everything, they reach out to their local community, and they basically work with the WordCamp Central, and they basically, if you're new and everything, you get a mentor and everything, and you're given all this material or this information to that about budget and what needs to be done and everything else, because the WordCamps have been organized already since forever. I think 2006. And so they already know what the game plan is. You just have to take the information they have and replicate it in your own way. And so basically you go to your local media up as the lead organizer, and you ask people if they want to volunteer. These people will volunteer for something like they want to be head of raising donations or sponsors, or they want to be in charge of social media, getting the word out about the event. or they want to be in charge of rounding up and deciding on who speaks at the event, or the after party, somebody, and food, stuff like that. There's a lot of different positions and everything. It takes a long time, sometimes 3 to 4 months. The bigger the conference, sometimes the longer it takes. I mean, it doesn't take like a whole year, but it does take a few months. A lot of times these people are, 1 hour a week on Google Hangouts, talking to each other and planning out what they're going to do the next week, not just the next week, but for the event itself. Like, what do we do? What do we need to do? So, it's a lot of work. The next one is topics to expect at WordCamp. A lot of times when a local community puts a WordCamp together, they really want to focus on topics that they're really interested in hearing. You're going to get submissions from speakers all over the country, but the local community is not only looking for local speakers first, they're looking for specific topics that their community is interested in. Usually these topics that of interest are provided by people of the local WordPress meetup group. So you could expect to find topics from like jQuery or the REST API, or or it could be some type of designer like theory kind of topic, or how to teach your clients WordPress, or blogging and content creation, or suggesting like some really cool plugins, or search engine optimization, or whatever it may be. There are a whole ton of topics that could be found at a WordCamp, and some of them are really, really fun. Sometimes you'll find not just like regular presentations. You could find like a whole workshop, or you can have a panel. So you have a group of people and everything, and there's a topic at hand, and you have a group of people focused on this topic. You could have open forum, and let everybody contribute to a topic. There's a lot you can do to make WordCamps interesting. In fact, one of the most interesting things that I like is like Kids Camp. So in fact, we have been encouraging WordCamps to try to reach the next generation. So, and it's pretty cool. St. Louis has had one, and several others have, and it's gone great. The last one is, of course, how you can help your local WordCamp. The first thing is to make sure that you get involved with your local WordPress meetup group. If not anything, if you can't make the actual meetup group, actually, to their monthly meetup, try to reach out through their forums or the websites that are connected with that meetup group, and ask them, how can you volunteer? It could be simple as running stuff between rooms, or announcing speakers, or registration table, or something. There is always something to do, and we always need at WordCamps or some volunteers other than just the organization team, because we have a lot to do during the event, and so those extra volunteers really take a load off. So it's really fun, and a lot of times you get a little bit of, you usually get a thank you and everything, and you've actually contributed to WordPress. You may have not contributed code, or you haven't answered a support form, but volunteering at a WordCamp is contributing to WordPress in your own way. And that's actually probably pretty easy. Like, if you're a person that into talking to people and you can do a registration desk, great. That means one person who can't stand doing registration or has a problem with speaking to a mass of people or different people back to back, that saves that headache. So, those are 5 interesting things about WordCamp. So that ends this hashtag WordPress Wednesday episode 2. And please see me out on Blondishnet or Blondishnet on Twitter. If you follow me on Twitter, please, give me a shout out. Say hello so I know I can follow you back. I have so many people follow me. Sometimes I'm like, who are these people? So, let me know. Say, hey. So I'll see you next episode. And don't forget to look over the weekly hashtag WordPress Wednesday roundup. So that's it for this week. Thank you for tuning in to this Blondishnet podcast episode. And once again, my name is Niall Flores. You can either like, comment, or even ask questions wherever this podcast is posted at. I'd be happy to answer them. If you're looking for WordPress design and development services, I actually specialize in designing and developing WordPress websites that convert, which means I can deliver a website that you can use in order to gain subscribers, social sharers, comments, and even buyers. So, in other words, I make sure you get a return on investment. So please seek me out at blondish.net. That's blondish.net. Again, thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next Blondish.net podcast episode.